Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. Being on here, I miss this platform so much. I think one of the things that every creative person and every gifted person, and this, I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all all the way 100. Okay. I think that we all struggle with procrastination. I think we all struggle with not feeling good enough because we're comparing, right, continuously. You're online, you're looking at stuff, you're like, man, you don't feel qualified. You know, I got an opportunity recently to work with this brand, and I did not feel qualified. You know, I was really taken back because I said to myself, and I sat with that, and I'm like, dang, I don't have a degree, you know, like, and it was funny because for the first time in my life, I had felt underqualified, and it was interesting because what the position was for, it was in podcasting, and so I'm like, wow. Here I am doing a podcast. How could I possibly feel, you know what I mean? Feel as though I'm not qualified, you know, and I think this is something that we all struggle with so deeply. And I just want to let everybody know tonight that, listen, if the opportunity presents itself, if you meet somebody who is, I'm gonna just touch on a few different things because this is real. Like if God sends somebody in your life who's a good-hearted person, who's a kind person, who's a diligent person, who is, you know, somebody who really has your best interest and who has good intentions, you know, don't ever feel like you're not worthy of that. You know, when opportunities come your way, learn to take opportunities. And even though you may be struggling with self-doubt, still take the opportunity and work your way through it. And it's going to be challenging. But the beautiful thing about this is that you're being stretched. I really believe that there's nothing worse than complacency. I think it's complacency that gives us anxiety. And let me just say this. It's the little things that you do, you guys. This is something that I struggle with this because my idea of little things, y'all, it was me literally sitting up in here cleaning my apartment, thinking that I'm done for the day. For me, I was like, okay, I got it. I'm good. You know, I feel good with this, you know, not recognizing that at the end of the day, when it comes to little things, I'm talking about the habits, right? It's, you know, for me, it's going for a run. Not every day, but that's just an example of things that can really better you mentally. You know, when you're sitting in a space and let's say you didn't do anything today, you're not active, you're not out walking, it can be really tough on your mental, you know, because the thing is, Jim Quick talked about this, you guys, and it's when our body moves, our mind grooves. So we start to have our best ideas, you know, when we're walking, when we're exercising and things like that. And so what it really boils down to is a mental game, right? And I think the biggest thing for me has been procrastination. And I don't think I've ever really sat with this space of procrastination until now, right? This is something that has just recently been brought to my attention. And when I tell you it has been eating me alive, honey, it's been eating me alive like the great green goblin or something like that. It's crazy, you know? So now I'm in a space where, you know, I'm like, okay, I got my plan. I'm ready to execute. And it's so cool because my sister talked about this. I think this is so important that whenever you start something, let's say you had a good day, you execute it, you did amazing. You did everything you wanted to do. And then tomorrow you slip up, right? You didn't do a few things. Don't beat yourself up. The key is to start over again. I don't really care if you only hit 3 out of the 7 days of the week. Keep going. Okay. Keep starting over. Don't hold yourself to that because the truth is that it's funny when we look back, we always hold ourselves to the mistakes that we made and the times we didn't do it, but we don't really look at the times when we actually got up. You know what I mean? So I think that that's so important. And, you know, I just wanted to get on here and tell everybody, like, don't keep doubting yourself. I think one of the things that I always say I put into perspective is death. When I was a young girl, I had went to a funeral like every single year, you know what I mean? For as long as I can remember. And so death was something that was like, oh, you know what I mean? It was really deep. It was really saddening in my family. And so sometimes when I'm in that space, I really put that into perspective and I'm like, man, we don't really ever know how long we got, you know what I mean? And I don't know, you know, for me, that's definitely what gets me going. And I'm like, okay, let me act on this. Let me do this. Let me be present in this moment and really maximize my time here today, right now, you know? And so that's why I was like, I just want to get on here and make a podcast because, you know, I'm dead wrong. Like straight up, y'all, I'm dead wrong. I haven't been posting as much. Like I said, I just want to thank everybody who is still listening to my podcast because I'm like, dead wrong. You know what I mean? I ain't been on here as much and I haven't been marketing as much. But there's something about that, you guys. I think for me, I'm learning not to give everything such a minimal perspective, right? Like, and I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to like, okay, actually, yes, there is. So when it comes to perfecting, right, I'm in a space where I'm like, okay, I no longer want to perfect it, but I do want to make sure that I am giving it my best. So if I know something needs to be done and executed a certain type of way, but because it's going to take a little bit longer for me to push this content or for me to do that, then I may just work on that. You know what I mean? Because I know that I can do better with it. Now, granted, like I said, I'm struggling with procrastination, so, weed that out. But the point that I'm making is I'm no longer in a space where I feel like I need to perfect it. But I know at the same time, I'm not about to just hand over some baloney. You know what I mean? When I know that I can give 10 times greater than what I'm giving. You know what I mean? I want to put my best foot forward in those things because it makes me feel good about myself. It's definitely, it adds to my confidence, but most importantly, because I feel like the people who tune into my podcast, like y'all deserve that. You know what I mean? Like y'all deserve that. Like you're tuning in, listening to what I have to say. I'm just a girl from Ohio. You know what I mean? Like with some experiences, who've read a couple books, you know what I mean? Who knows a little something, you know what I mean? So it's just like, come on, like, so I just want to make sure that, with everything that I do, I'm giving it my best. And if I know I can do better, then I'm going to do that, and that's just the type of person I am. Like, and I've learned to try to get rid of the whole perfectionism thing, because I think that right there goes with procrastination. But it was funny because it was like, I was on one totem pole where I was like super, super perfectionist. I ain't doing it if it's perfect, unless it's perfect. I want it to be perfect. I'm like critiquing everything. And then I went to the opposite side to where it was like, okay, I'm just putting everything out there. I ain't planning nothing. I don't care. I don't care if that look like that. If that look a hot mess, I'm not even going to try. It just needs to be out there. You know what I mean? And now I feel like I found that middle ground to where it's like, no, you don't want anything to be perfect, but at the same time, still do your best, especially when you know better, So I hope everybody's been having a great week. Today is Thursday, man. And I just want to say, anybody who's struggling with procrastination, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right because you're listening to this podcast right now. You feel me. You feel me. You get it. You got it. You're good. Okay. You good. Like, tomorrow's going to be such a great day. And even still, like I said, man, just like really putting things into perspective. Like I said, it ain't got to be as dark as death. But for me, it's one of those things where it's like when I really consider that, I'm like, man, I really got to stop joking around with my life and just playing around. And, the thing about being in your 20s and people say, oh, you shouldn't push so hard. It was different for us, y'all. Like for my 20-year-olds who listening, just hear me out. It was different for us because, we were in such a age, right, in the century here where it's like information is so readily available. You can take a course, you can do these things, you can meet people, you can, you know what I mean? There's never been a point in history where information has been so readily available, right? Before it was like, you got to read the books, right? Before you had the experiences and then you're like 40, 50, 60 with all this wisdom, you know what I mean? Now it's like, I ain't gonna say we like got wisdom, but we definitely got the knowledge, you know what I mean? Because I think wisdom is one of those things where it's like you have wisdom because of your experiences, right? That makes you wise, right? And so when it comes to, sorry, y'all, I had to just like walk in the kitchen and turn my rice off. I couldn't even pretend. Look, get on Anchor. Super dope. But listen, so we got this wisdom now. And so it's like, I'm sorry, we don't have wisdom. We have knowledge. So, that's the difference. And so with knowledge, it's more so like it's things that you've learned, things that you've read, things that you've seen, right? That that you can apply in your life. But, with wisdom, it's like you've experienced it. So you kind of know how to apply it and you learn as you go. So I think that's like the biggest difference. And another thing I wanted to touch on too, you guys, I think this is really sad, but I was thinking about this today and I'm like, man, it's really something said about making money, and it's something said about a lot of the beliefs that we have around making money. And I think a lot of people who are like believing in God, my God-fearing people, where y'all at, shout out to y'all. We kind of have this ideology that we got to suffer. We got to struggle. We got to, you know what I mean? Like we got to really overcome all this stuff. It's demons on our back. If we do this, we're not Christian-like, or we're not God-like, or, you know what I mean? And it's crazy. I remember I was reading this book. It was called Wisdom of a Native Americans or something like that. I got it when I was at the Grand Canyon. It was really dope. If you haven't been to the Grand Canyon, check that out, okay? Because, honey, it is super, super dope. But I was reading this book and they said, we're poor because we're honest. And I started thinking people say, when people would say, oh, I make an honest living. You know what I mean? And so I started to think about that and just how that psychologically was affecting how I think a lot of people who are good-hearted and who are like God-fearing, how they deal with their finances. You know what I mean? So it's almost like we kind of think that we're meant to be broke, or that, money is evil, or that we can't have a lot of money, or we can't have the things that we want to do because, we feel like, oh, I don't, you know what I mean? But let me just tell you this. whatever your belief may be, please, please, please address it and get rid of it. Because I think the biggest thing is that your gifts really will make room for you. You guys, when I tell you this opportunity that I'm doing, don't get me wrong, I'm not over here making like hundreds and like I ain't even talking salary. You know what I mean? But what I recognized was like, man, like doing what it is that you love, and really having a purpose behind everything, first of all, because that's going to be the one thing that's going to really drive you, right? Like that is, I think, even remembering your purpose sometimes is really what separates, you know what I mean? Because you kind of step into a space where you're like, okay, I want to do this for something greater than me. So let me put my stuff aside. Let me put my laziness aside. Let me put this procrastination to the side. You know what I mean? Because I have a purpose on this earth, and it's me who's going to make a difference for the little girl, you know what I mean, a couple years from now, or who grows up in a generation where promiscuity is praised. You know what I mean? And that's my personal little purpose. I just kind of, you know what I mean? So for me, it was completely different, you know? And so I think what you have to recognize at the end of the day is like you got to overcome those beliefs, because I think that's almost like a tactic in a way that we are taught that, you know, if you're honest, you're poor, or if you're, you know what I mean? And it's like you feel like you're a good-hearted person. You feel like you don't even deserve money. You feel like you don't even, you know what I mean? And it's crazy, man. But the truth is that when you follow your gifts and you follow your purpose and you know your why, you know, you have a greater understanding of yourself and why you do what it is that you do, like it's purposeful. You really will start to recognize like, man, no, I need this. I need to secure this bag. You know what I mean? I need to secure this bag because I got to help people, you know, and I'm called to certain people and I'm getting ready to make a difference in somebody's life, you know? And so I just kind of wanted to say that that was something I learned today. And I'm telling you, man, procrastination has been like, if I could think of a word for the month of April, it has been procrastination. Like we can just do that whole like SpongeBob, you know, the you and I, like it's the rainbow, the whole procrastination, like it's horrible, you know what I mean? And it's definitely been like, I'm looking at my closet right now, honey, I did spring cleaning like back in freaking February. Like there's no way I still have all this stuff in here, you know? And so that's just something that's just like my little personal tip, and I just kind of wanted to get on here and let you guys know. But yes, thank you guys so much for tuning into the podcast, because, yeah, like I said, I'm dead wrong. I ain't even going to apologize. I'm just going to make it right. It's one of those things I just got to make it right. Honey, my friends told me that that I remind them of Joan from The Girlfriends. But okay, y'all, that's enough of that. Anyways, I hope everybody had a great day, and I'm going to leave you guys with your thoughts.